Hey, what's up everyone? This is Silver Slayer. Thank you for tuning into this video. A lot is going on in the precious metals world, and actually not only just the precious metals world, but the world in general, and you can see the prices start to rise again. We have gold around $1,905, silver around $24.41, almost up a whole dollar, and you can see things are starting to change. The tides are starting to change. And everyone that was panicking, freaking out last week, a couple days ago, now probably seem a little silly, a little over exaggerated, right? Because when it's happening, yes, it's easy to get caught up in the doomsday catastrophic mind state, but when you can step outside of that, stop investing with your emotions, then you'll be able to see instances like that and say, wow, I could have bought silver for cheaper. Wow, that was just a great opportunity to buy. Like I was saying the whole time. Now, it doesn't mean silver's prices are going to start skyrocketing. I'm not trying to give off that message, but prices are starting to correct. Now, let's jump into this because there is a lot more that's going on than meets the eye. So, here's a forecast. I actually have another article besides this one. Both articles have different things I want to cover. This first one is talking more about the prices and how it's likely to continue to bounce. So a lot of volatility, especially with silver, as it is the more volatile, metal compared to gold. So what I mean by that is it's more volatile. It's more exaggerated than gold is. Silver is like gold on steroids. If gold's going to rise 15%, silver's going to be rising 25-30%. But it also works on the downside. If gold's going to drop 10-15%, silver's going to drop 30%. So anyways, let's jump into these articles. By the way, the link is in the description. So silver markets have initially fallen during the trading session on Monday, only to turn around and rally a bit, right? It's crazy. Ultimately, we did end up forming a very bullish looking candlestick, and it does suggest that we are going to continue to rally. I do not necessarily think that we are at the bottom quite yet. So people are still saying there might be some room to drop a little bit, but that only means the discount is going to last a little longer, right? You can buy silver for cheap for a little bit longer if you still haven't got in when the getting is good. So I would not be surprised at all to see a little bit of pullback. However, I have no interest in shorting silver, as you know, due to the fact that there is so much uncertainty out there. And that is so true. There is so much uncertainty, fear, so many things about to happen that are right around the curve from the presidential election. So many different things that right now, if you gave up right now, it's so close to really, like, the event is so close. It's so close to happening that you have to hold on right now and just see what happens. At least even if you're not buying or selling, just hold off and see what happens, see how the markets react to all of these extremely explosive or bullish instances that are coming up. Not only just the presidential election, but so many other things as well. Even the pandemic, right? So one mistake that a lot of retail traders make is that the tend to treat silver at the same way they treat gold. And that's a huge mistake, and I want to dive into that a little bit. It's a huge mistake. Let's see what he has to say first. This is a huge mistake considering that silver has a massive industrial component built into it as well. And that's what I was going to say, but to dive a little deeper into that, to treat the silver market like gold markets is extremely dangerous for so many reasons. So many reasons. One, the prices are influenced and affected by different things. Two, the prices are influenced and affected not only by different things, but how much of these different things pull into them. For example, silver is a much smaller market. Like I said, it's more exaggerated. It's like gold on steroids. So if let's say two people were to invest into gold and silver with the same situation happening, they could get extremely different results because they're different metals and they're used for different things. Like the article said, gold is more of a monetary metal. It performs best when there's fear and uncertainty in the economy. When the economy's in pretty bad shape, people invest in a gold. It's a safe haven metal. On the flip side, though, silver not only is a safe haven metal, but it's also an industrial metal. So even when the economy's in good shape, silver still benefits because it's intertwined in all of our everyday uses. So they're influenced by different things, and you can see that from the gold to silver ratio, and they're also used for different things. Silver is more for electronics, technology. Gold is more for jewelry, coins, bars, stuff, etc. So anyways, that being said, the market is likely to continue looking at the possibility of a grind higher or lower when it comes to the global economy. And whether or not there will be a demand for silver, do not get me wrong, it is not that silver does not act as a precious metal at times, it's just that it is not as precious as gold, so it can lag a bit. And that's true, it's his little brother. He's going to follow suit a couple days, couple weeks afterwards. And it always does happen, but just to a little bit of a higher percent, and that only means there's more opportunity if you can find the tops and the bottoms correctly. So if you are looking for the safety trade, silver will not be where you need to go. If you are looking for a way to sell the US dollar, silver can serve the function quite well, but the reality is that silver is also extraordinarily volatile and when it comes to the futures market. And that's true. That's why if you are looking to day trade to make a quick buck, to buy silver and trade it in a couple of years, it's not the ideal investment. You would rather go to stock markets, cryptocurrency, something along those lines. It's a much quicker paced market. If you are looking to invest traditionally from a long-term perspective and for retirement 15, 20 years down the line, then yes, precious metals are perfect, and there really isn't much risk involved because you're transferring your fiat money to something that holds its value. Over time, the dollar loses its value. Over time, gold and silver their value rises, right? So you can see how the dollar over time depreciates and gold and silver over time appreciate. So it's hedging against inflation. For the day-to-day though, yeah, silver's too volatile. It's very risky to do that, and that's obvious. So anyways, I am much more bullish when it comes to silver closer to the $20 level that I am right now. Because quite frankly, we have not found a major support level quite yet. And this is interesting. This looks like it could be a simple bounce that reaches toward $25 level. I'm not saying we cannot turn around here, just that it is not necessarily the optimal entry. And that's true. Just because, and like I said, just because prices are starting to appreciate does not mean that they're just going to keep going up, and not necessarily meaning that you want them to keep going up, right? The thing is that markets are influenced and affected by so many things, especially from the speculative aspect, the younger generation from Robinhood, all of this stuff happening with the presidential election, and that's the talk is starting to heat up, and the tension in the air is starting to thicken. Things are going to change. Markets change every day. You need to adjust with them. And when you can step outside of yourself, look at the bigger picture realistically, I think you can get a more ideal standpoint of where silver prices are headed. You want to look ahead, not behind. You can look behind to notice the patterns, but you need to focus on where the prices are going, right? Not where they came from. So anyways, I also like this article. I like this guy, Lori Williams. He always has very insightful and different points of views on things. I don't always agree with all of them, but he usually has a very good perspective on gold and silver, the markets, a nice understanding and comprehension of the markets, and also his thoughts. And I want to break this down and share with you guys as well. So despite seemingly making a small recovery Thursday and in the early European trading on Friday, those seeking to keep gold and silver prices depressed returned with vengeance Friday morning and forced at least a temporary end to the seeming precious metals recovery. European equities were marked down too, so there was no good news for the pandemic hit investment community, apart from a small percentage in the rise in Japan's Nikkei stock index overnight and somewhat similar small uptick in the U.S. equities after they had mostly opened in the red. So the seeming assault on gold and silver continued in early trade on Monday, but there was something of a turnaround late Monday and Tuesday. With the dollar declining after a recent period of strength, gold and silver prices picking up respectively to the 1900s, just over $24 silver. And that's because the dollar and precious metals are directly correlated. If the dollar index is down, gold and silver goes up. If the dollar index is up, gold and silver go down. And that's what sent gold and silver prices crashing over the last week or so, was because the dollar index was rising. Now if the dollar index is starting to pull off, look what happens. So, should all that be achieved, it could suggest that those with a vested interest in seeing gold and silver lower may be slowing down the battle, with a possible further positive impact on precious metals prices and a weakening of the dollar in the fourth quarter. And whether that will provide sufficient momentum to take gold back to $2,000 or silver above 28 remains uncertain, though it will become apparent soon enough. And that's what I keep saying. Soon enough, everything's going to get exposed, right? Things are going to be blatantly obvious. It's just a waiting game right now. There's so many things happening, and you really have to just play the waiting game. So now he kind of goes into the presidential elections. I don't want to get too much into politics, but overall, he says that he's still positive about gold's future path, perhaps less so about silver, as an investor may have found the recent fall too steep for comfort and remain negative about the futures for equities. Go gold. So this is the thing, and I like that he said that because it's true. People got very ramped up with gold and silver, especially when prices started to break through multi-year highs, decade-long highs. So eyes were on gold and silver. Silver took the spotlight too. But when the prices they didn't crash, but when the prices corrected, a lot of people probably lost faith in silver because it hit so hard, and people don't understand that it's a smaller market. So yes, it's gonna take the punch harder than gold, right? Just like we said, it's higher highs and lower lows. It also works for the lower lows. Gold got hit hard, silver is going to get harder. And people don't understand that. They don't see silver's true value yet. A lot of people are investing from a very fundamental perspective. So yes, silver wouldn't make sense if I'm looking at it from that point of view. That's why I try to make these videos and explain why silver is so valuable, that it is a separate metal than gold, and it's influenced and affected by separate things than gold, because the more people understand that, then the better idea they have of why you should invest into silver, instead of all the reasons people will tell you why you shouldn't invest into silver. So anyways, I'm going to wrap this video up here. If you thought this video was educational, informational, or at least entertaining, make sure to smash the like button. Subscribe if you're new. I post daily videos. Thanks for tuning in. This was Silver Slayer. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.